Hey, Good Fox here. So today I want to talk about my opinion on what we've seen so far on Madden 18. The script for this, I actually wrote it out this time, will be on my website. Good luck finding it. It's not goodfox.com like a lot of people claim it to be. I did more of these video essays back when I started, but stopped doing these types of things because kind of the podcasts are taking over a lot of this, the longer form rants, the video essay that I used to do. But I just really want to talk about Madden 18 and some of the things we've seen and my concerns and positive feelings on some of it. So I'm going to talk through the GOAT edition, where we saw the 3 different modes that we're going to get, the positional advantage, team play, story mode, pass a specific spot on the field, and some other things. So the GOAT edition, right off the bat. EA has proven themselves over and over again that they will literally do almost anything to suck more money from our pockets. The fact that they will delay the game 3 days for anyone who doesn't order the version that's $20 more expensive goes to show that they don't care about us as people. They see us as a bully sees a small kid with lunch money. I talked about this in my daily login rewards video. They don't practice responsible development. They aren't kind to us as consumers of their product. At every opportunity they have, they show us they just want to turn us upside down and shake vigorously. And when you look at these double release dates and try and justify it, I can't see it. It's not like our extra $20 makes them work harder to get the game done 3 days sooner. It's already out. Games normally release on a Tuesday. You're saying I pay $60 for this game and I get it on a Friday, 3 days after the one's paying $80. Thanks, EA. Cool move, bro. They came out with their quarterly earnings a little while back and said digital sales at around an 85% profit margin. They aren't going to use our money to hire more developers and make their game better. It's all about the stockholder value to them and not to the value to us as consumers. They forget about us. I've said this before. The staff on the ground developing these games EA puts out really do care about it. But EA's upper management team has to be filled from brim to bottom with assholes. They couldn't care less about us as consumers, and they just show it over and over again. All right, now moving on to the 3 modes that we've seen, the competitive sim and arcade modes. I am overall a fan of this move. I've said this in the past how I supported different sliders for the salary cap mode and the various game modes Madden provides. What I don't like is that Rex Dixon has said that MUT will be in the competitive settings. I don't know exactly what those settings are, but I will say MUT players are not competitive Madden players. Do not lose sight of that, please. It's caused issues for us this year because they don't think of the majority of the player base when they make changes. Biggest issue was the removal of the block feature in online play on Xbox One. That's fine, so guys can't use the block feature to avoid matching in salary cap against top opponents, but it hurts us regular players who don't want to deal with the guys field goal blocking when it was an issue, or the disconnect glitchers, or the swervers, and more. So the fact that they are lumping head-to-head settings in MUT with salary cap gives me pause. I had hoped they'd separated them two, but we'll see what it is before rushing to judgment there. My other big worry is that when you aim to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. The players that are loud complainers are going to be loud complainers next year. That's who they are. That's their shtick. Every game community has them. Please don't create custom settings or change your game modes trying to please them, as this feels exactly what you're trying to do here. Instead of pleasing, you're trying to please all the crowds at once. Create a great game, and please recognize not all feedback is great for it. But the issue here is that we know you have enough trouble patching and balancing your game as is with just one settings. Why make it 3 times harder? Slight changes can cause huge balance issues for certain plays or play styles. Since there are 3 settings, if you only hear 1/3 of the players complaining and the rest saying it's fine, what do you think is going to happen? Gameplay balance is something that is incredibly important to the community. We all hate it when a guy spams a play that's really hard to stop. Please focus on play balance this year more than last year. But back to competitive settings and salary cap, I had a video on the 7 types of Madden players. Spike was only one of them. I'll link in the description. Please watch that video. Salary cap players are competitive players. These are your spikes. I'm glad they're getting settings for them, but again, don't forget about us regular Joes in MUT. All right, based on 16 and 17, EA seems to think Draft Champions is for competitive players. But if you're going to create competitive settings in 18 that reduces randomness, there should not be the added randomness of the draft into competitive gameplay. Take Draft Champions out of competitive Madden. Moving on, I like what you're doing, taking out the swerve in 18. I know you promised a couple times in 17 that you did it, but hopefully in 18 it's gone for good. But I felt Madden 17 started with too strong of a focus on the run game. Please make the fun part of the game the correct strategy to win. Passing and usering on defense is fun in my opinion. The people who run the ball a lot think winning is fun because running the rock is effective, and you can't hate on them for that. Make passing the correct strategy to win. Like I say, I love what you're doing at making it easier to stop hard to block pressure. Keep that up. In my opinion, I love what you've done to man coverage. When man coverage is really good, it's degenerative, and it leads to a boring game where the only thing that matters is my player rolling an animation better than your player. That's not strategy. I do think heavy pass defenses need to be punished by a running game. Give negative 30 block shed or something to players if they come out in a formation with 6 defensive backs. I don't care if it's obnoxious. Linemen should be rolling over these DBs. I haven't seen anything related to matchmaking for 18, and that's too bad. You guys fucked up big time in 17 on the new player experience in MUT. I did a video on this, the new player experience in MUT 17. I don't know EA's corporate strategy when it comes to recruiting and retaining players, but I had a 65 overall squad. In my first game, I matched against a base elite squad. He wasn't the greatest player, so I assumed that was fine matchmaking, if not a little off. But in my second game on the new account, with essentially a starter squad, matched up against a guy with a top 3 of 98 overalls, who sent edge pressure at me. This is terrible matchmaking for new players in your main money-making mode. This isn't Draft Champions where you got match guys up 0-0 records. I suggest going back to Madden 16's matchmaking with one change. Once a player reaches a level, they can't demote below it to beat up on easier competition. Now you might say, this will increase the people at all Madden first string. I would counter that the way to fix this is to change the amount of levels needed, potentially, to reach the top of the ladder, or increase the requirements to move up to the top, and do also potential seasonal reset like Draft Champions and salary cap. When you compare my experience starting a new account in 16 to 17, the difference is striking. You had a good thing and you ruined it. Please go back. All right, now talking about positional advantage. I'm mildly excited about this if it's just your number one follows their number one around the field. If it's more than that, like Rex is hinting at on Twitter, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. This is something that was removed from the game in the past. Hopefully this returns along with the formation subs from the main menu. They fixed the wide receivers not looking for the ball, according to Rex on Twitter. Tip drill will be nice on them then. We'll see how they do abilities next year, because tip drill on a wide receiver would be pretty nice. Sorry to the ultimate ticket, Watkins Creator. You were 1 year too early on that. But it is interesting that they do give abilities to cards where their game was kind of broke, if you know what I mean. Like tip drill. Like, guys should be able to catch tip drill balls pretty easily. All right, moving on. Tom Brady is the cover athlete. I've never really cared for the cover athlete or who it is, as long as the disc inside had solid gameplay. Hopefully the disc inside Tom Brady doesn't break this year from the Madden curse. That's all I will say. Team play. If they pull us off well and there aren't as many problems with it like Madden 25 had, i.e. randomly disconnecting from people, then I think it's going to be a blast. I don't know if it's ready for competitive Madden yet, but I do think there's a ton of fun to be had here. It'd be cool if we could use MUT teams for team play. I hope it's not just regs. The trailer I thought was well put together. I did a breakdown of that earlier on the channel a week ago, maybe a little bit more. I'll link it in the description. The story mode, I'm not sure I'll be very big into this, but I know a ton of people will be. So nice work, EA. Hope the story is compelling and you bring tears to the eyes of many. Next, gameplay things past a specific spot on the field. I think this is really neat. I'm a big fan of change. I don't know how they're going to work this, so I will withhold my opinion until I use it. I wonder if there'll be legacy QB controls alongside this or not, or if we have to go with this from now on. And when you try, just a general point, when you try something and it fails, we'll forgive you. I know a lot of suits and higher-ups fear challenging players more than boring them. The safe route doesn't get anyone fired until it gets everyone fired. Then I think we'll respect the attempt at awesomeness and stick around. I think we'll respect the attempt at awesomeness and stick around to see what else you have in store for us. If you give it once, we'll come back again. But when you bore us, we'll hate you and stop playing, because there's no reason to continue. MUT 17 is the epitome of boring with the lack of fresh content. So the fact that they're changing up gameplay a bit with this and hopefully bringing some new stuff into MUT means they're trying to change and challenge us and therefore excite us. Unfortunately, nothing MUT related has been released yet, except the blurb about it being really neat or something. Usually not until like July, August do we hear much about it. But look to EA Play June 10th through 12th for more details, and we will keep covering it. And I'll be giving my opinion more on the podcast than anywhere else. Twitter, maybe I'll go on a Twitter rant or something. Usually I don't. But thanks for watching, guys. That's it. I guess I will see you tomorrow.